What's up, folks? It's 4 Hours Malone. This video we're gonna be talking about the Game Awards that are coming next week, December 10th. We're gonna be talking about the nominees, all stuff that's relevant to me in gaming on this award show, the biggest award show in video games. So we're gonna be talking about multiplayer, we're gonna be talking about the game of the year, all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. Okay, so starting off with best multiplayer. You're looking at right here, we got the nominees are Animal Crossing, you got Among Us, you got Call of Duty Warzone, you got Fall Guys, and you got Valorant. Starting off, winning this, I'm not gonna say Valorant. That game came out, people are playing it. I only played it a few times, haven't heard a lot about it, so I'm scratching it off the list for something that's gonna win. Gonna go to Fall Guys. Had a big peak this summer. A lot of people are playing it. I played a lot of Fall Guys. Season 2 came out, I think it came out in a good time, but at the same time Among Us came out strong, which Among Us is a game from 2 years ago. It's on a mobile and it's on a PC. People really got into that game, starting calling everybody sus, memes coming out, people talking about who's the imposters, all that good stuff. Among Us probably is like the biggest cultural impact on, social gaming this year, probably next to Fortnite, and Animal Crossing too. So in like Animal Crossing, I think multiplayer wise is like, you can play that with a good amount of people. It's not as widespread anymore. Call of Duty Warzone, I would say it's Call of Duty. It's Battle Royale, one of the biggest Battle Royales, 150 players. I've had a good time with it over the year. But if I'm thinking about who's gonna win best multiplayer this year, I think it's gonna go to either Animal Crossing or Among Us. But I would say Among Us is probably gonna squeeze out just for the fact that I feel like, kind of going into later in the year, it's kind of whatever been on everybody's mind. Animal Crossing, had its big peak earlier in the year. But it's not as big. I don't think the multiplayer is big, but to me, I don't think that's as big as how Among Us did, what Among Us did for gaming this year and pushing the culture forward as a whole. Okay, so best family game right here. I do have a family, kind of played a couple of these games. Animal Crossing, I feel like is gonna be the winner for the simple fact that that's the one that everybody really talk about. You get multiple switches for your kids, your wife, your girl, your boyfriend, whoever playing with it. Animal Crossing wise, had the biggest impact earlier in the year. Everybody was at home locked up. Everybody's getting switches. You couldn't find them. Animal Crossing's all over the damn place. Fall Guys, I guess that could be a family game. That makes sense. I played it with my kids too, but I guess I think about like a game where you can play it, everybody all at the same time. Minecraft Dungeons, Mario Kart Live. I know people like it, but that's a game where you gotta buy the cards and you gotta, set it up in your house and everything like that. Crash Bandicoot 4, that came out. I heard it was good, but I didn't really hear a lot about that. Besides like after like the first week, so I'm not really sure how people feel about it now. Minecraft Dungeons, that was another one I thought was gonna be bigger than it was. Minecraft is still big, but I thought Dungeons was gonna have more conversation. And Paper Mario as well, that kind of came and went earlier this year. But if I was to say once again, I would think Animal Crossing might get this one because it's a bigger game than Fall Guys. But I feel like Fall Guys, from just like a pure being goofy and doing all that crazy shit, I think that one might be the one. Best fighting game. So when you talk about fighting games, I like fighting games. I play a good amount. I did play Grand Blue this year earlier when it came out for like the first couple months. That is a really good fighting game. It sucks because it came out during the year of COVID. It came out when the fighting game scene got hit with some big blows this year. We didn't have Evo, so that game didn't get a chance to be shown to the masses on Twitch and all those big things like that. Mortal Kombat staying steady out here, just had their new DLC. They had Aftermath come out. Street Fighter 5 has had characters come out. That's kind of Street Fighter, as much as people shit on it or whatever you want to say. One Punch Man, why the hell is that up here? It's just they had to fill 5 spots, I guess. They didn't have to. I guess that's just the protocol. Then Under Night in Birth, that's a anime fighter, but that's a good one. I've not played it. There are characters that I play Cross Tag Battle, which there are characters from that in there, but I know that's a good one. If I was to say, for the simple fact that I I would say Grand Blue should win this because it's new and it's actually a good game, but not people haven't played it like that. I love Mortal Kombat. I like Street Fighter. One Punch Man, hell no. I'm not really sure on this one. I feel like I want Grand Blue to win for the simple fact that I wanted to get some more life out here, and I want 2021 for that game to not go down the drain. So I'm gonna stick with my Grand Blue prediction, probably hot take, whatever. Best role-playing game. So this year we have nominees: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is a tough one. So I have played Genshin Impact. Why am I going out or whatever? I played Genshin Impact for a little bit. That one came out. People were like, oh, Breath of the Wild clone? I don't know. But, you know, that one came. It's still going strong. Hella people spend money on it globally. It's a gacha game, but it's an open world gacha game. It's pretty good. It's something. It's not for everybody. I would say, I mean, once again, it's kind of like one of the more recent ones with Yakuza. Just came out in time to be nominated, I guess. And that's a pretty good one. I have not played it just yet. I'm waiting for the PS5 version to come out since, you know, there's other stuff I need to play, blah, blah, blah. But that one is one where I feel like that might be a dark horse just because it came out recently. But a lot of people are digging it. A lot of people like the Yakuza series. Wasteland 3 is another solid one. That one came out. I was going to try it. It's on Game Pass. That is one of the sequel 3, whatever what I'm trying to say, but that one's another I don't think it's going to win just because it's not as big named. Persona 5 Royal, you want to say reboot, deluxe version of Persona 5. This one, I have not gone through deep into. I played most of Persona 5 first one. Royal, it's really good. They made a lot of good changes in Royal. That's one where I feel like if we're going to talk about a winner, Persona 5 might be it. But Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of my favorite games of the year. It came out back, March 11th, I think was the day it came out. I played it. I loved it. You know, people kind of, you know, the story, Nomura going like a Kingdom Hearts kind of situation, whatever. I don't want to get too spoilery. But with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I feel like between the combat system, the graphics, even though like the backgrounds didn't look as good, I just feel like when you talk about, you know, coming out with a remake, Final Fantasy VII, a lot of people love that game. A lot of people don't look on it as fondly as others. But to me, I love that game a lot. I played it. I beat it. I haven't played all the others like that. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake should win this one. And I'm going to stick with it. Even though I think Persona 5 has a chance. And I think Yakuza is a dark horse. Genshin, maybe, but I don't think so. Best action adventure game right here. We got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of Wisp, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which came out last year. A lot of people were mad it was not nominated for stuff last year. Then Last of Us Part 2. This is another tough one. This is 6 nominees, so I'm not really sure what the precedent is on stuff being 6 or 5, whatever. All of these are good choices. I will say that I don't freaking know, because 2 of these games are nominated for Game of the Year in Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. I always suck saying that word. Man. And I love Miles Morales. It's more of the same with Spider-Man, so I don't think that's going to win, even though I think the story was a little better than the, you know, first Peter Parker game that came out 2018. The gameplay is really good, but I have not played Assassin's Creed. I know a lot of people have issues with that one, like with glitches and stuff. Ori and the Will of Wisp, I think, might be a little bit of a dark horse situation for the simple fact that it's a 2D platformer. But a lot of people love it. It's Xbox. It came to Switch, but I feel like that one might be behind. If it's between that, Last of Us Part 2, you know, you can have all the conversations about that. I don't think Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is going to get it just because it's older, and all these games, I think, well, I don't know about Assassin's Creed. I think all the other games are better from what I've seen in review-wise and people talking. I would say it's between Ghost and Last of Us Part 2. I love Ghost. I love Last of Us, even though people, you know, whatever. That's my opinion. I love it. Man, I really don't know. I think, to me, Ghost of Tsushima had the better open world than Spider-Man did from a, you know, just going around doing things, combat system, whatever. God, I kind of think Ghost might win this one. You know, it depends. Might be the one that wins Game of the Year. I don't know. I think maybe because I played Ghost more recently, but Last of Us Part 2 had me, you know, wanting to see what's going to happen. That whole, you know, damn near 30-hour run. I'm going to say Ghost. I'm going to say Ghost of Tsushima wins this one, but Last of Us Part 2 might end up getting this one. Best action game. I'm really only going to talk about this for Hades and Streets of Rage 4. I think Hades should win this. That's like the roguelike everybody's talking about now. It's the first roguelike where I really got pretty deep into it. I played a few others. You know, I don't even want to really talk about the other ones. I haven't played them, but I will say Streets of Rage 4 is a good game. If you love Streets of Rage, you love beat 'em ups, you should play it. $20-$25. Same with Hades, it's the same price, $20-$25. Get those games. I will say Hades should win. It has a really good story, it has a really good gameplay loop, music, the art style, all that good stuff, man. It's a really good game. So I think Hades will get this one. It's also nominated for Game of the Year. So I'm sticking with Hades. Best ongoing game. So talk about best ongoing, and we have Apex Legends, we have Destiny 2, Call of Duty, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. Fortnite, if you know, I'm just gonna say if Fortnite doesn't win this, I'd be surprised. They've had such a big impact on games, the culture, the business of video games over the last couple years. They keep coming crazy new surprises, crazy crossover characters. I love Apex Legends a lot. It's like probably my favorite shooter in the last, you know, since it's been out, year and two. Between gunplay and all that stuff. Destiny 2 has had its ups and downs. They went, you know, Bungie went independent. They just came out with their new DLC. People were like up and down about it. I think people are more up on it now. Call of Duty Warzone, once again, it's Call of Duty Warzone. You know, I feel like it's solid. People don't talk about it as much. No Man's Sky being nominated is good because that's a game that came out 4 years ago at this point. Game that people, you know, dogged on, and they've come back and they have a really strong community now. I played it in the beginning. I have not played it as much during these last updates. But I feel like if Fortnite didn't win, I'd be surprised. I don't know. I would think they won last year, but I can't remember. I love playing Apex probably a little more, but also just playing Fortnite, messing around, getting the battle pass, doing that funny stuff. I feel like that game might get it again, might be up there, but also just all these are well deserved on the ongoing standpoint for video games and games as a service. Okay, so best performance, I think this is a pretty good one. We have Ashley Johnson as Ellie in Last of Us Part 2, Laura Bailey as Abby, Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai. We have Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades, and Najee Jeter as Miles Morales in Miles Morales Spider-Man. Any of these can win. I think these are all great. I feel like if Abby, I personally, and I said it on Twitter, I think Abby, Laura Bailey should win just for the simple fact pissing everybody off that shit on her all this year for no damn reason. But I feel like Ashley Johnson did great as Ellie as she has been doing. Daisuke did it great as Jen. Logan Cunningham as Hades. I love that the deep raspy voice he talks with, talking crap to his boy in the video in the game. Najee Jeter's Miles is pretty good. A little disappointed Najee Jeter's Miles was just for the fact it's kind of like, I mean, he's supposed to be like the nerdy kid, not sure of himself, you know, growing up and everything. But I feel like just a little too whiny for me during the game. But it's still good. It's just kind of irked me going through that game. But I feel like it's gonna be up between Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey. Maybe it'll be a tie. I don't know if we ever had a tie at the Game Awards before, so we'll see how that works. But I think I'm gonna give it to Laura Bailey on this one because she did a good job. And also I want people to get upset and rage all over the internet, but I don't want all that hate mail and shit. So maybe not, because that shit's not cool. Don't send hate mail to people working games, all that voice actors, all that stuff. Don't be that person. So I'm gonna kind of quickly go through best score music and best art direction. I think Hades should win because I love the music, and Hades has a hard metal rock soundtrack in a lot of areas. The click, the sounds, the menu sounds, the characters, all that stuff. I just think it sounds really good. Final Fantasy has really good music. Last of Us Part 2 has good music as well. I can't speak on Ori or Doom Eternal. I will say Hades, maybe because I've heard it recently, but also that music really hit me when you get into those boss battles, you get into those fights. Best art direction, I will say the same thing. I love the art style in Hades. Supergiant did an amazing job. I love in Final Fantasy Remake how they built those areas that everybody's so familiar with from the classic game, and sprawled them out, re-envisioned that look. Ghost of Tsushima, I really love the way they did that, making the different outfits for Jin. The world you go into, the different, the swampy, nasty areas, the beautiful forest, the ice mountains, stuff like that. Last was Part 2. Captures that same sense, that art, that sense, that zombie world, that apocalyptic world. They really got that down packed again. And I love how Ori looks, but I have not played it. But once again, I think Hades should get the art direction category. Alright, so looking at best narrative, going through quick on this, I think it's gonna go Last of Us Part 2. Just for once, I think that probably did have the best story this year. I like Ghost's story. A lot of people didn't like it. Hades, I think, is really good from a simple fact that there's so much that you see and you don't see in that game, depending on how you go through it, how you travel in that game, how you succeed or don't succeed, what the people will say to you. But I think Last of Us is gonna get it. Final Fantasy VII story, rebuilding on the last one, doing some changes. I think that one is pretty strong, but I think Last of Us Part 2 is gonna be it. Game direction, once again, I feel like Last of Us Part 2 is gonna get it, just from a whole, just being the most solid, I think, all around, in my opinion. Yeah, this thing is gonna get it. Now, Game of the Year, the big award everyone wants to know who is gonna win. You got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Animal Crossing, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us Part 2. Oh man, I played all of these except Doom Eternal this year. Oh man. When you think about what's gonna win, obviously if Last of Us Part 2 wins, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people mad online, blah blah blah, whatever. Get over it. Animal Crossing, it's a good game. I loved Animal Crossing for the first couple months. I don't play it as much. I think that is the weakest one out of all these. Doom Eternal, I will say I've not played, as I've said. I haven't heard much about. I feel like from what I did see, people say it wasn't as good as the last Doom that came out a few years ago. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I love it. Ghost of Tsushima, I love it. Hades, I love it. This one's a toss up for me. I wouldn't be mad either way out of the four that I spoke of the most highly. But I will say that if it isn't Last of Us Part 2, I would be surprised. But also, I think Hades might be, I don't want to say the dark horse in it because I love that one the most, but I feel like however they vote on this one might get that split. Hades, I think, might get this one this year and be the first indie game to win Game of the Year. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before. I'd have to look that up, fact check me. I'm probably speaking out my ass, but I feel like this year is a good one for Hades to win, and also keep all the raging people away. But I feel like Last of Us Part 2 is really deserving. Hades is. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, if the way the year was going at first and delays kept happening, Final Fantasy VII definitely would have won it. But Ghost of Tsushima is really good. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna say Hades is gonna win. But if not, then I'm not mad at any of these other choices. So yeah, that are the topics that I went through for Game of the Year. Who do you think is gonna win Game of the Year? Do you think I sound like a piece of crap with my predictions and with my thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe. For Malone, have a good one. Thanks for seeing. Peace.